Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathiran kathira. From Mabadu, my brothers and sisters, we are on our lesson of death and hereafter, and I think we have spoken to you about most things, and we are coming to a closure of this, and therefore it's important for us to look at that day and how it has been described, for which all of us need to prepare ourselves, and that is the day of judgment. The important thing to understand here is that the day of judgment is real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمُ الْحَقِّ. That is the day of the truth. That is the day which is true. That is the day which will come. And the beauty of reality, the beauty of the truth is that it does not depend on belief for its existence. It is not that if somebody says, no, I don't believe all this, I do not believe in the day of judgment, that this person will therefore be free from whatever is going to happen on the day of judgment. It doesn't. The only the benefit of believing is that you prepare for it. And the problem with not believing is that you are unprepared when you face it. But the person who believes and the person who does not believe, both will face the same reality. So this is the reason why it is very important to get it right and understand that we must, that to believe in the truth is not an option. It's not a discretionary matter. It just makes good sense. Now, the day of judgment is the single thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warned us about the most. He used the strongest terms and described the horrific scenes, if I can say that, of the day of judgment in detail, so that we will be frightened enough to change our ways. The purpose of these detailed descriptions of the horrors of the day of judgment is to frighten us and to intimidate us, so that we begin to understand the importance of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seem to live in a world where we seem to have convinced ourselves that obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is discretionary. It's okay if I obey Allah, it's okay if I don't obey Allah, that's fine. That is my choice. I am free to choose. I remind myself and you again and again, of course you are right, you are free to choose, but no choice is free. Please try to differentiate between these two things. We are free to choose, but no choice is free. As I mentioned before in another lecture, and many times before that, it's like walking into a store. When you walk into the store, you are free to choose. You can pick up anything you want from that store. But none of those things is free. Every single thing that you choose to pick up from the store has a price tag. If you don't believe me, go to the next store you want. Any store, walk into the store, pick up something, and see if you can simply walk out with that. I don't advise you to do that because they'll call the cops and you will be in trouble. Right? You are free to choose, but everything has a price tag, and this is exactly how life is. This life of this world is a store. Right? This life is what? It's a store. We are free to choose. We are free to do good things and we are free to do bad things. No problem. Until we do that thing, whatever it is, the best thing and the worst thing. Until we do it, we are free to do it. But when we do it, be absolutely certain in your mind that there will be a price to pay. Sometimes that price is direct in your face, sometimes that price is hidden, and usually the hidden price is much more and much more problematic and much more severe and much more costly than the price which is in the face. Make no mistake. Do not make any mistake. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, is telling us about the Day of Judgment. And seriously we have to say, woe to those who read the Quran and still continue to live life as if they will never die or they will be never resurrected on that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ghafir, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. يوم هم بارزون لا يخفى على الله منهم شيء لمن الملك اليوم لله الواحد القهار. Allah said, the day when they will all come out, nothing of them will be hidden from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whose is the kingdom this day? Limanil mulkul yawm. Whose is the kingdom this day? And Allah will reply to His own question, Lillahi al-wahidil qahhar. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one, the irresistible. This kingdom is His. My brothers and sisters, let us understand this. You know when this question will be asked? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that this question will be asked after the sur has been blown, between the two blowing of the trumpets, between the sur being blown the first time and the second time. When the sur has been blown and everything has perished, everything is dead, nothing lives. And Allah will say, now who is the king today? And there is no one to answer. And Allah will say, Lillahi al-wahid al-qahhar. Who does the day belong to? It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah will take in His grip the earth on the Day of Judgment, and He will roll up the sky in His right hand, and He would say, I am the Rabb. Where are the sovereigns of the world? Where are the kings? Where are the Fir'auns? Where are all the presidents and prime ministers, and where are all the generals, and where are all those who thought that they would last forever? Where are all those who used to make others make sajda to them, who used to insist that people who came to meet them would prostrate, would fall flat on their faces? And may Allah protect us, Muslim kings did this as well. Including the likes of Al-Malikul Kamil, who was the nephew of Salahuddin Ayyubi, rahimahullah. And Al-Malikul Kamil did some wonderful things, among which was that he, when the Third Crusade started and the kings of Europe, especially Richard and Philip from UK, from not UK, those days it was not UK, it was Britain and France, leading the Crusaders. When they came, Al-Malikul Kamil was the Muslim king who defeated that Third Crusade, and that was the end of it. After that, there weren't any more crusades, and the power of European monarchs was broken forever. So he did some good things, but among his practices was that he insisted that he should be greeted by whoever it was, by them making sajda to him and kissing his shoe. And none other than Musa Mansa, who was known as the richest human being ever to have lived on the planet, when he came, to Egypt on his way to Hajj, he was forced to do that. Of course, I mean, forced in the sense that there were a lot of negotiations and whatnot and so on and so on. And Musa once said, this is against my religion, I will not do that now. And what religion? Was Al-Malikul Kamil's religion anything different? It was the same religion. The question was, what do you want to practice? The question is, what do you want to practice? On the one hand, we had Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who we claim to follow, who we believe in, and who Al-Malikul Kamil also believed in. The Sahaba said to him, they said, Ya Rasulullah, we have seen that the kings of Byzantium and Persia, which were the two big empires, their custom is that people who come to meet them in their court must make sajda to them. And they said, you are the Rasul of Allah. If there is anyone who deserves this kind of ta'zeem, but they're not talking about sajda as in ibadah, they're talking about sajda of ta'zeem. If someone deserves the sajda of ta'zeem, then you deserve it. Sajda of honor. So please allow us to greet you in this way, by sajda of honor. Rasulullah refused. He said, I am the abd of Allah. I am the slave of Allah. And greet me as Allah told you to greet me, by salam. Salaam alaikum, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did not allow them to make sajda to him. And it is a tragedy that his followers, and Al-Malikul Kamil, I'm giving you only one example. There were many, many, many. The Mughal emperors in India, they had the same system. Many Muslim emperors and kings had the system where they forced people to make sujood to them. Allah is saying, where are these people on the Day of Judgment? Where are they? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the scenes of the Day of Judgment, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا وَأَخْرَجَتِ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا وَقَالَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ تُحَدِّثُ أَخْبَارَهَا بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسُ أَشْتَاتًا لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُمْ فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Allah said in Surah Al-Zalzala, when the earth is shaken with its final earthquake, and when the earth throws out its burdens, and man will say, what is the matter with it? That day it will declare its information about all that happened over it, good or evil. Because your Rabb has inspired it. Allah gave it the power to speak. That day mankind will proceed in scattered groups, that they may be shown their deeds. So whosoever does good equal to the weight of an atom or a tiny zarra, a tiny particle, shall see it. And whosoever does evil equal to the weight of an atom or a tiny particle shall see it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Al-Qariyatu mal-Qariyah wa ma adraka mal-Qariyah yawma yakunu an-nasu kal-farashi al-mabthuth wa takunu al-jibalu kal-ihni al-manfush. Al-Qariyah, the striking hour, the day of resurrection. What is the striking hour? And what will make you know what is the striking hour? It is a day whereon mankind will be like moths scattered about. And mountains will be like corded wool. You clean the wool by beating it, and it's like it flies in the air, it's floating. Mountains. These are the same mountains about which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Al-Jibalu Awtada. Wal-Jibala Awtada. They are the pegs, massive structures which keep the earth firm. On the day of judgment, they will be flying, flying around like clouds of dust. Allah said, إِذَا السَّمَاءُ فَطَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْكَوَاكِبُ انْتَثَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ فُجِّرَتْ وَإِذَا الْقُبُورُ بُعْثِرَتْ عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ وَأَخَّرَتْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْإِنسَانُ مَا غَرَّكَ بِرَبِّكَ الْكَرِيمِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when the heaven is cleft asunder, and when the stars have fallen and scattered, and when the seas are burst forth, and when the graves are turned upside down and they bring out their contents, then a person will know what he has sent forward and what he has left behind, of good or bad. O man, Ya ayyuhal insan, ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. O mankind, what has made you careless concerning your Rabb, the most generous? My brothers and sisters, really think about this. Let us think about this. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذَا الشَّمْسُ كُوِّرَتْ وَإِذَا النُّجُومُ كَدَرَتْ وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بأي ذنب قتلت وإذا الصحف نشرت وإذا السماء كشطت وإذا الجحيم سعرت وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما أحضرت. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Takwir, when the sun kuwirat has lost its light and is overthrown, wound around, and when the stars shall fall, and when the mountains shall be made to pass away, and when the pregnant she-camels will be neglected, and when the wild beasts will be gathered together, and when the seas shall become a blazing fire, or will overflow, and when the souls shall be joined with their bodies, and when the female infant buried alive, as the Arabs used to do, and as happens, female infanticide is well and alive, especially in India today. When the female who was buried alive shall be questioned for what sin she was killed, and when the written pages of deeds, good and bad, of every person shall be laid open, and when the heaven shall be stripped off and taken away from its place, and when the Jahannam shall be kindled to a fierce blaze, and when Jannah will be brought near, then every person will know what he has brought of good and evil. Now, brothers and sisters, all of this is real. All of this is real. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ يَوْمَ الْفَصْلِ كَانَ مِيقَاتًا يَوْمَ يُنفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا. Verily the day of decision is a fixed time, the day when the trumpet will be blown, and the heavens, and you shall come forth in crowds, in groups, and the heaven shall be opened and it will become like gates, and mountains shall be moved away from their places, and they will be as if they were a mirage. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملك منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يدا ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, from the Rabb of the heavens and the earth and whatsoever is in between them, the most beneficent, none can dare to speak with him on the day of judgment except by his leave, except by his permission. The day that Ar-Ruh, Jibreel alayhi salam, and the angels will stand forth in rows, none shall speak except him whom Ar-Rahman, the most beneficent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows. And he will speak only what is right. That is without doubt the day of truth, the true day. So whoever wills, let him seek a place with or a way to his Rabb by obeying him and following the sunnah of his Nabi alayhi salam. Verily we have warned you of a near torment, the day when mankind will see that the deeds which their hands have sent forth, and the disbeliever will say, Ya laytani kuntu turaba. Woe to me, would that I were dust. I wish I did not exist. I wish I wasn't even born. This is an ayah of such terrible despair. May Allah save us from this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ نَفْخَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ وحملت الأرض والجبال فدكتا دكة واحدة فيومئذ وقعت الواقية وانشقت السماء فهي يومئذ واهية والملك على أرجائها ويحمل عرش ربك فوقهم يومئذ ثمانية يومئذ تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية فأما من أوتي كتابه بيمينه فيقول هاؤم اقرءوا كتابيه إنا ظننت أني ملاق حسابيه فهو في عيشة راضية في جنة عالية قطوفها دانية كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما أسلفتم في الأيام الخالية وأما من أوتي كتابه بشماله فيقول يا ليتني لم أوت كتابيه ولم أدري ما حسابيه يا ليتها كانت القاضية ما أغنى عني مالية هلك عني سلطانية خذوه فغلوه ثم الجحيم صلوه ثم في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا فاسلكوه إنه كان لا يؤمن بالله العظيم ولا يهض على طعام المسكين فليس له يوم هاهنا حميم ولا طعام إلا من غسلين لا يأكله إلا الخاطئون فلا أقسم بما تبصرون وما لا تبصرون إنه لقول رسول كريم وما هو بقول شاعر قليلا ما تؤمنون ولا بقول كاهن قليلا ما تذكرون تنزيل من رب العالمين. In Surah Al-Haqqa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Then when the trumpet will be blown with one blowing, the first one, and the earth and the mountains shall be removed from their places and crushed with a single crushing. Then on that day shall the great event befall, and the heaven will be split asunder. For that day, it, the heaven, will be frail and weak and torn up. And the angels will be on its sides, and 8 angels will that day bear the throne of your Rabb above them. Rasulullah said about these angels, he said when he went in Isra al-Miraj, the Hamalin Arsh, they are called the angels who carry the Arsh. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala created the Arsh, He created His angels to carry the Arsh. And when they tried to carry the Arsh, the weight of the Arsh, they sank and they kept sinking. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said they are so massive, they are so huge, they are so powerful that if a bird flies from the shoulder of the angel and flying fast, this bird will take 500 years to reach the ear lobe of that angel. They could not hold the Arsh until Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala taught them and inspired them to say La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And then the Arsh held. Now on the day of judgment, the Jalal of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will be such that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will create 4 more angels. There will be 8 of them. And that's what Allah is saying in this surah. Who will be holding up this Arsh of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah said, that day you shall be brought to judgment. Not a secret of you will be hidden. May Allah forgive us. May Allah protect us. May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala cover us with His mercy and with His lihaf, with His cover, so that we are not exposed to the world. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. How sad and how terrible it will be if we are exposed to the world on that day when the whole world will see what we used to try to hide. Then as for him who will be given his record in his right hand. See how beautifully this is a description. He has given his book in his right hand. May Allah make us among those who are given our books in our right hand. He'll go to people and say, take my book, see my book, take my record. Surely I did believe that I shall meet my account. So he shall be in a life well pleasing, in a lofty Jannah, the fruits in bunches whereof will be low and near at hand. This will be said to eat and drink at ease for that which you have sent on before you in days past. But as for him who will be given his record in his left hand, may Allah protect us from this. He will say that I wish I had not been given my record, and that I had never known how my account is. I would that it had been my end, my death. My wealth has not availed me. My power and arguments, all the clever talk, all the smart alecky talk have gone from me. They have not been able to defend me. It will be said, seize him and fetter him, chain him, and then throw him in the blazing fire. And then fasten him with a chain whereof the length is 70 cubits. Verily he did not use to believe in Allah, the Most Great. And urged not on the feeding of al-miskin. He did not give charity, and he told people not to give charity. So no friend has he here this day, nor any food except filth from the washing of wounds. None will eat except the khati'un, the sinners, the disbelievers, the polytheists, the idolaters. So I swear by whatever you see and by whatever you do not see. And this oath Allah is taking. I swear by whatever you see and whatever I do not see, that this is verily the word of an honored messenger. Jibreel alayhi salam brought it to Rasulullah who recited it, which he has brought from Allah. It is not the word of a poet, little it is that you believe, nor is it the word of a soothsayer or a fortune teller. Little is it that you remember. And this is the revelation sent down from the Rabbul Alameen, from the Rabb of all that exists. There is a beautiful story from the Sirah, where Umar ibn al-Khattab said that one night he came out of his house with the intention of going to hang out with his pals, his drinking buddies. And he said, I couldn't find anybody. So I decided to go and make tawaf of the Kaaba. He said, as he came there, he saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam praying. And he said, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying, facing the Kaaba. So Umar radiallahu anhu decided, and of course that is before pre-Islamic, he decided to frighten Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he said, I went from behind the Kaaba, and he said, I got inside the kiswa. He said, I inserted myself between the wall of the Kaaba and the cover. Right? And then he said, I came around to the front where Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was praying, so I was right in front of him, inside the kiswa of the Kaaba. And he was reciting Surah Al-Haqqa. So Umar radiallahu anhu says that I had this thought, I said, what is this? This is some poetry he is reciting. And at that moment Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَاعِرٍ قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ. This is the word of a honored messenger. It is not poetry, it is not the word of a poet, and little it is that you believe. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said, I was shocked. He said, how did you know what's in my heart? He said, then this is a soothsayer, this is a magician. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَلَا بِقَوْلِ كَاهِنٍ قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ تَنزِيلٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. He said, no, this is not the word of a soothsayer. This is not the word of a magician. This is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rabbul Alameen. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu says that he of course gave up the idea of frightening and so on and so forth. He quietly sneaked away. And he said, that is when Islam actually entered my heart. He came to Islam later, but he said, that is the time when Islam actually entered my heart, because I knew that this had to be from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not even know I am there. He does not know I am there. He has not seen me. Obviously, he does not know what's in my heart. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what's in my heart. And Allah caused him to recite that which answered my questions. I want to end with this. Inshallah, we will look at more as we go forward, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to do that which is pleasing to Him and to save us from that which does not please Him. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.